Welcome back to the show. I am Dan Edwards, and you are listening to Seattle's Eastside Real Estate Team's podcast. We're here with Brandon Brockway-Ring. Brandon is the owner of Key Inspection Services LLC, the company that's been around for about 20 years. He took over the company recently after being the lead inspector for the past 8. He comes from a family that is in the construction industry, and as per him, he still remembers running around on roofs when he was less than 5 years old, learning all the aspects of building a house through his entire life. He got into home inspections after trying a different route. Now, I want to ask you the question is, did you ever, while running around on a roof, think about grabbing a big piece of plastic and jumping off like a parachute? Did you ever do that?
I actually probably at one point did do that.
Yeah. The first time I did it was no good. The second time I did it, I made sure to throw some mattresses out so that it stopped my landing. So I learned trial and error. You know, when you hit your tailbone on the ground off of a 10, 12-foot roof, you'll learn, okay, next time we'll do a better parachute, and next time we'll do mattresses so that we have an insurance there. And that was fun. So tell me about the home you grew up in. That's a question I like to ask all my first-time guests is, this is a show about real estate, and quite honestly, it's a show about homes, right? We're going to get into the nitty-gritty about inspections, but tell me about the fond memory you had of the house you grew up in.
Wow, yeah, I actually grew up in northern Indiana. It was my dad, we had picked up the house and we moved it at one point and then expanded onto it. So I grew up on many acres of land out in the middle of a cornfield area. So it was quite fun to, experience how the additions were put on, seeing all the different things. I remember our basement flooding at one point and learning how to deal with a flooded basement to just all the components that come into the house. Like I said, running around the house, we had an antenna in the back. So, running around on the roof. So something that stands out is I do remember that because we could climb this antenna and we would take all the fall leaves and put them into a big pile. And we would jump off the roof into those when you talk about jumping off the roof.
There you go.
And so we used leaves, and it was only, probably not even 10 feet off the ground, but we learned how to tuck and roll really well and see who could bounce the highest.
I mean, you're made out of rubber at that age. I mean, as long as you think carefully about how you're going to land. Well, okay, so today's topic is what is wrong with my house and sewer line. So quick question from you is, if you're just a homeowner and you're not listing or you're not selling, why get a home inspection?
Well, there's so many things that go on with a home that it's just really good to be informed. I mean, the best part about a home inspection versus trying to get all these contractors out is you can hire one person to go out and look at all these components rather than getting all these contractors out. With homes nowadays, people are living in them more, so there's a lot more wear and tear on the sewer lines to your gas lines, electrical, everything just takes a lot more wear and tear. There's more just moisture in the house. There's just so many factors into the house. And a lot of times it's also easier to fix things before they actually become a larger issue. So a small roof leak, for example, if you get somebody to go up there, look around your attic, they happen to see it's just a small leak now, that's great before it's ran down for months and months, all winter long, essentially, because I don't know if you heard, it does rain here some. Yeah. And so as that leak just gets worse, all it's going to do is cause all that additional damage. But if you catch it beforehand, it's really smart to get them. That's one thing, because we do maintenance inspections as well. And that'll just kind of alert you to say, hey, I need to do maintenance on this, prevent it from becoming a bigger problem.
Yeah, I think a really good point is if you've been in your house for 5 years, okay, and you haven't done a lot of deferred maintenance, ordering a home inspection, I think for the one reason is if you call, let's say you walk outside and you look at your house and you're like, something's going on with the soffit up there, right? And I'm sorry, for those of you that don't know, the soffit is the underside of an eave in a house, right? So you look up, and a lot of times there'll be like some mold sitting on there, or something black, or just kind of water will be dripping down alongside it. So who do you call? Do you call a finish carpenter? Do you call a roofer? Do you call mold specialist, an attic cleaner, right? Any kind of person. Who do you call? And by getting a home inspection, my history with this over the last 17 years is you're getting somebody like Brennan said, that is their job is to look at the systems as a whole and pick out the problems and then provide you with, here's who you should call. First, call the roofer. Second, call this. Third, do that. So I think if you've owned a home for 5 years and you haven't been in the crawl space and you don't want to go, I don't like going in crawl spaces. Call. Schedule a home inspection. So that brings me to my second question is how do people schedule with you, Brent?
We make it really simple for Key Inspection. So you can easily go to our website. When you go to our website, just click on where it says schedule now. There's usually 3 different spots. We make sure to make it as simple as possible. From there, you can just select what kind of package you want. So if you want it with a sewer scope, if you want it with a mold, if you want it with, we do a lot water testing to thermal imaging. We do a lot of packages. So on there, you can just do that. If not, you can call the number that's at the bottom of the screen. That's scrolling across. I'll get you into the office. So if you have additional questions, you can talk to Curtis, my office manager, or we also have another, it's a virtual assistant. They can help answer any questions as well. So we give you as many avenues and make it as simple as we can. People tend to easily just book online. We get most of them are all just done right through our website.
Okay. So you've got an inspection when you're a buyer. You get into contracts subject to inspection. That's the most common point of entry for somebody with you. There's also a pre-inspection. So a listing agent like myself is going to have you pre-inspect it so that we go to market. We've got a clear idea of any problems that might arise in negotiations. And so those are the 2 most common. And then within that, there's this idea of a lot of people not inspecting new construction. So why would you inspect new construction? I mean, it's a brand new built house. It's just passed codes with the city of Bothell. Why should you inspect it?
That is one of the best questions. And so a lot of people do skip on new construction inspections, but what they don't understand is city inspectors do not go on roofs. They don't really look at them. They don't crawl in crawl spaces. They don't go in attics. They're not required to. So a lot of times if you're there and you happen to see the city inspector there, which I see them regularly when I'm at those, when they look in the attic, they just pop their head in there. They're not really looking around very well. They're just basically seeing how levels of insulation. They're not seeing if a truss is broken or if you have mold growth in there or if you have, any number of issues. Same with the crawl space. There could be an issue around the corner in the crawl space, but they don't crawl through entire crawl space. And the quality of the work that they're doing now, they are building, we've got a lot. You should follow What the Fridays we have. And we also have something called What's Wrong Wednesdays. We find some pretty funny stuff that it's amazing what builders miss that we see. An example would be just the other day, Justin, my inspector that lives up on Camino Island, he was doing an inspection there and there's these boxes on the roof, they're roof vents. And those boxes are designed to shed water away. Well, these people were doing their 11-month warranty inspection and none of those boxes were there. They just had holes in their roof. And they had it's been mild enough. They had some water staining. They just thought it was normal. They didn't know it was different, that was an issue. Well, they had just a bunch of water going into their attic. And so I've got probably endless stories of things, that new construction builds have done where I've been able to pull floor joists out where they were never nailed, glued, nothing done properly. The stories could go on and on and on. I would highly recommend new construction inspections. It's wild what we find.
Yeah. I mean, I've found places with insulation missing in the attic, and it's one subcontractor was out there and they thought so-and-so was done and they put this over the top and they didn't really even come back and check. So in my opinion, with the quality or the low amount of quality that we're seeing in the product that we have nowadays, man, if you don't get it inspected, I mean, you're throwing away a lot of money because I guarantee an inspector will find something on new construction. Okay, so let's, because we kind of have limited time, and I think what I'm going to do is we're going to have you back on for a couple more segments as we get more specific, but let's get to the sewer line deal. Why get a sewer line inspected?
This is something that we've been doing for many years now, and there's so much that can go on with the sewer line. One thing that people don't realize sometimes is how expensive sewer line repairs can be. And I would recommend even new construction getting them done. I can tell you we just had one recently where they have to actually tear apart the entire front porch and front of the house basically because they didn't realize they crushed the sewer line on a brand new home. Yeah, and so there's a lot of things that can become an issue with it. Anywhere from a for sale sign being driven through it, a fence post being driven through it, water lines, gas lines through them, cracks, wear and tear. One thing I would also recommend, like anytime somebody takes an old house, tears it down, and they put a new development on there, they don't all the time update the entire sewer line. And a lot of times what we hear is they're like, oh, brand new sewer line, but it's only a foot or two of it. And so they're saying it's a new sewer line. And we throw the camera down there, send it down, look and see. And we're like, well, it was repaired for that little section, but you have a collapsed line the rest of the way. Wow. And so we've seen some pretty wild stuff. I would say on any age of home, though, it's worth getting a sewer line inspected. We've been seeing a material called Orangeburg as well on the east side, a lot more. And basically it's a sewer line made of lots of paper glued together.
What?
It's pretty wild.
Who did that?
These engineers, they get crafty.
That's insane. So that's a newer product that existed sometime. Is there a date range?
Yeah, that was more in like the 70s. They were using that. So if you have a home from the 70s, I would really recommend it. When they send the camera down, any one of our inspectors, we're all certified in everything we do. We make sure we're all certified in it. They'll be able to identify the oval shape. It's kind of egg shaped down the way, and you got Orangeburg, and it'll start peeling, just kind of like paper would start wearing away. It's pretty wild stuff. So yeah, anything with sewer can get very expensive though. We do the inspections for $225 when you do it with a home inspection, but a sewer line could cost you easily $5,000, depending on the repair, to over $80,000 plus for repairs. And you probably have heard of or had experience as well with that.
Thankfully, none of my I've not had any of my clients with issues. And generally speaking, I've always recommended it on spots in Kirkland where the homes were built around the turn of the century. And I think it's something that I would recommend on a lot of homes. And it really does depend though on kind of like what kind of signs of like things draining slowly, stuff like that, things that came up on the inspection. But you bundle it together, right? So therefore it's more economical for everybody. So I love that. That's great. All right. Well, listen, we want to have you on again. I understand there's a promotion that you're willing to offer right now.
Yes. Yeah. If you go online and book or call in, it's all lowercase. It's case sensitive. Save 5. They'll give you 5% off. So any one of the packages you book, just a standard home inspection, premium inspection, premium pro, or elite, just depends on what you really want inspected. Use that and you'll get 5% off.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brandon. I so appreciate you coming on today. Now, I guess